To live a life of fulfillment, you need to understand what those factors are. What would create a fulfilling life? Often, you're not thinking about those things. Often, these things are things which, unfortunately, we live our life on a day-to-day basis without realizing the things aren't actually making us happy. We go to work, we pay our bills, we do what we have to do, but we forget what actually makes us happy. See, the things that actually make you happy are things like spending time with your children, spending time with your parents, spending time with your family, spending money on charity, on gifts for your family. And these things are super crucial in understanding what is it actually that makes a fulfilling life. So let's go through some of the things that will create a fulfilling life. For you to live a fulfilling life, you have to understand factors that create that fulfilling life. And often, we're not thinking about them. See, your life right now is you're going to work, you're paying your bills, you're living your life on a day-to-day basis, and maybe you're living for the weekend. But the things that actually make you happy, what are those? And those are the things that I want to go through in this video and how we can go about achieving them. More importantly, let me ask you a question. Imagine you are 60, 70 years old. You have a grandchild, and the grandchild says something like, what are the best memories? What are your most favorable memories that you have had in your life? And guess what you're going to say? You will not talk about the times you went to work. You will not talk about your job. In fact, you will talk about the holiday, maybe going to Umrah, maybe doing something for your mother, but you won't talk about the days you went to work. And actually today, and let's do this exercise, right? And I want you guys to comment and let me know the days that you can actually remember, but let's do this exercise. Think about how many years you've been working for. If you've been working for 5 years, can you remember 5 days, specific days that you went to work, that you did your job? 5 days in 5 years. And if you've been working for 10 years, then can you remember 10 days specifically, morning to afternoon or at the end of the day? But can you remember specifically where something and you did something and you enjoyed the day 10 days? Because most people cannot even remember 10 days if they've been working for 10 years. But the reality is we live a repetitive life of going to work, paying the bills and living for the weekend. And that unfortunately creates an unfulfilling life. So let me know in the comments, if you've worked for 10 years, can you remember 10 days? If you've worked for 5 years, can you remember 5 days? See, living that sort of repetitive life, that is exactly what creates an unfulfilling life. If you now start going to the gym and you are trying to get into shape, that's fulfillment. You're improving yourself. You're bettering yourself. That is what is going to make you happy. You're creating an environment and creating something for yourself, which actually you will look back and say, I achieved something. Going to work, working a job, or just paying the bills isn't actually achieving something. And especially for the brothers, I promise you guys something. You will never be happy until you reach your potential. If you feel like you are not reaching your potential, you're just not going to be happy with the life that you're living. Because as men, our desire is to achieve the highest potential that we can possibly reach. And if we feel like we can achieve a lot more than we're doing currently, that makes us miserable. So for example, as a Muslim, as someone from the Pakistani background, I was never taught Arabic. I don't know the Arabic language, but then when I start learning the Arabic language and I understand a little bit, that's fulfilling. That I realize I've achieved something and I've become something and I am improving in my life. The same way, if I memorize a portion of the Quran, then again, that's something which is fulfilling because I've achieved something. And not obviously when it comes to the religion, it's going to be fulfilling regardless because you're improving and bettering yourself. And that comes with its own high in Iman, obviously. That's amazing. But if you take away all of that and put it to the side, what are some of the things that will make you feel fulfilled? Taking your parents to Umrah, that is going to make you feel fulfilled. Taking your parents out for dinner, that is going to make you feel fulfilled. Spending time with your children and being there as a parent, that's exactly what's going to make you feel fulfilled. See, what you don't realize is living the life that you're living sometimes isn't actually making you feel fulfilled. But doing things for your family, your friends, and even in charity, those are the things that gives you the happiness that unfortunately we ignore. We avoid because we're like, well, we have to go work our jobs. We have to do what we're going to do. But you know what the thing is? We're living this life that actually we're not happy with, but we're not doing anything about it. We're not wanting to create change. We're not actually taking action towards creating that life that we would want to be happy with. See, for me, the happiest moments in my life are when I take my wife and my child for brunch, when I spend dinner with my mum and dad, and when my mum calls me and she needs something, and that could be a bottle of water, but the point is, if she asks for it, I'm there and I'm able to go and give it to her. Those are the things that you will reflect back and you will say, that is fulfilling. Today, imagine this, and I want you guys to imagine this. If your parents are no longer around, okay? If your parents are no longer around, and may Allah protect all our parents. But if that does happen, you will look back at your life and say, I wish I spent one more minute with my mom. 1 hour with my mom, just a little bit more time with my parents. And those are the things that are fulfilling. Creating memories and spending time with your loved ones and doing what you should be doing, those are the things that will actually make you happy in a life where you're just being repetitive. You're more of a machine. And that is unfortunately what society has created us into. We are now just living life in an automatic way. Imagine today you had the opportunity to go to Hajj. Imagine today someone came to you and said, we have a project where you can go and do a charity project for 3 weeks. Could you do that? Imagine your parents felt unwell and you needed to give them time. And again, may Allah protect all our parents, but imagine that an illness came upon them and we needed to look after them. Can you quit work or work from home or look after your parents? In their time where they need you, can you look after them? Because that's actually one of the main reasons I quit my job and I left my job, because I realized I had to do something for myself so I could serve my parents in their time of need. And of course, these are examples that, maybe you guys aren't coming across and maybe you're not facing. But there will come a time that unfortunately many of us will face that time where we have to look after our parents, where we have to give them more time, where we have to look after our child or our wife, whatever the reason might well be. And the worst thing you guys could do in all of this is ignore the things that actually make you happy. Because going to work and doing your job and paying the bills and doing all that is amazing and it's praiseworthy and you're doing a lot. There is no doubt about it. But you do want to look after your parents. You want to make hijrah to Muslim countries. You want to have your children homeschooled and you want your wife to be able to be at home and look after the family and look after the house. And imagine you send your wife to work because you have no other option, but that is the only thing you could do and you need to make the house work. You as a man don't want to be in that situation. So the best thing here you could do is remind yourself of the things that are actually fulfilling. Remind yourself of the things that actually make you happy. Tell yourself that is the life you want to live. You want to live a life where you are able to give time to your parents. You want to live a life where you are able to give time to your wife and your children, and you're raising your children. You want to be able to live a life where you are living in Muslim countries. You want to be able to live a life where you can go to Umrah 3-4 times a year. You want to be able to live a life where you can do things for your family, your friends, and so much more, and study the religion. And be able to be flexible. That is the most important thing, and that is a fulfilling life. But that, my brothers and sisters, will not happen until you create change, and it will not happen until you do something, and it will not happen until you take action. So I'm going to leave this video here, and the next video is going to be all about taking action.